All right. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Dr. Dominique Reese, CEO of Reese Financial Services, where I'm the Chief Financial Coach, Consultant, and Planner. And I am so thrilled that you're joining me today for the How to Maximize Savings in 2024 Money class. This is our first money class for 2024. So I'm quite excited to kick this off with some valuable information. Again, welcome, welcome, welcome to class. Please get comfortable, bring a snack. We're going to be here for about an hour and a beverage of your choice. I've got some water because I'll be presenting and we're going to dive right in. All right, so tell me what makes this topic important to you? You saw the um, message come through or you saw the posting. What makes this topic important to you? Feel free to either come off of mute or type it in the chat. Either way, I would love to hear from you about what makes this important to you. Got people joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll give everyone a second. Welcome to everyone who's just joining us. We are we just begun the presentation, and I've just asked the question, what makes this topic important to you? So please let me know by typing in the chat, or feel free to unmute and share what makes this topic important to you.
I think for me, with the economy in the state that it is, saving isn't as easy. So I need tools.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Whitney. Yes, and this economic environment is quite challenging for several reasons. I mean, we're in a high inflationary environment. Our dollars aren't stretching as far as they used to. There's a lot happening, and so that makes perfect sense as to why this topic would be important to you. So thank you for sharing. And if you didn't hear what Whitney said, she shared that just given this economic environment, challenging is savings is challenging right now. So how do we do it? What's the best way to make it happen? So we are going to talk a little bit about that today. Anyone else, what makes this topic important to you to maximize your savings?
Hi, Dominique. This is Elizabeth.
Hey, Elizabeth.
I am just financially drained. Like, I'm just tired of not making it as much of a priority as it should be. And I really feel like, okay, this is the year. Just like we say every year is something. Last year it was about my health. This year it's going to be about my finances. So that's why
Okay.
it's really important to get it together for me.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that, Elizabeth, because plenty of people are feeling the exact same way. Hell, sometimes I feel the same way. It is a draining event to have to manage your finances. And so, as you said, this year is the year. Every year we may take time to get something in order. So I love hearing that this year for you is all about your finances, and that's going to go very far. So I'm excited to present this information today because I think it's going to be enlightening. It's definitely going to be informative. And I'm hoping that you're going to have something that you could take action on. You're going to be able to hear the information, understand how it's going to apply to you, and then figure out, all right, what's my next step here? And a lot of your personal situation, of course, because everybody's money situation is different, may need some more guidance, right? Like money's a whole thing. So we're going to focus on one key area today, which is just savings. And you'll see throughout the presentation, this information is timeless. So you're going to be managing these things from here on out, which is why I love the work I do because it's never going to go away, right? I'm always going to have a need to support clients in their 8 core areas, but particularly when it comes to savings, that piece can be such a challenge that the ongoing guidance, the ongoing support really never goes out of style. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I really appreciate you all sharing. That's really good for me to know why this topic is important to you. All right, so here we go. So a lot of people within my community, and this is why it's important to me, are not properly prepared for retirement. And retirement is just one area that we can save for, and it's for the future, right? So when you're like, okay, what about the present? We're going to talk about that. But for me in particular, as a financial coach, as a financial planner, I see client after client, people are not properly prepared for the future. So that automatically gives me reason to show up in the present. We can focus on the present as well, but I got to get more people thinking about the future and what that's going to look like. Because guess what? We're responsible for it. This government is not going to be responsible for it. We may not have no rich, wealthy people in our family to help be responsible for it. It's going to fall on us. And I really want us to be prepared given how hard we work for our money. I know I work super hard for my money. And as Elizabeth mentioned, it could be very draining when it's not in order, right? And so, on top of working hard, and then I'm drained because it doesn't feel like there's enough money to last the month, right? We have all experienced that. On top of just knowing, okay, I might not be properly, sufficiently prepared, that can weigh on us. So we want to get rid of the stress. We want to get rid of not feeling prepared and really want to get more confident about how we can make this happen. So this is why it's important to me. A lot of people within my community have to save for multiple things, and then you don't know how to prioritize which of these things should come first, right? Because we wear many different hats. I'm a mom, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm the first of the oldest siblings. There are a lot of responsibilities, right? We're caregivers, so we're caring for children as well as our parents or our grandparents. There are a lot of priorities on our money. How do we know what comes first? So that's another reason why getting things in order really matters to me, because there's so many competing demands for the $1, right? Every dollar we bring in, there's about 10 things that want a piece of it. So how do we prioritize saving within that? And then lastly, a lot of people within my community don't believe they can save for what matters. It's not enough to go around. How can I afford to save when I'm barely making ends meet? Or I'm saving and I don't know what else to save for. Like, I've got this idea, I've got that idea, but I don't really know. Okay, we're going to clear that up today. So today we're going to focus on how to supercharge our savings for 2024. Because really, it's a lot, right? It's a lot to do, and you got to make the most of what you have. The 7 ways to save your hard-earned cash, how to save pre-tax and post-tax money, because there is a big difference. And then how to save if you're an entrepreneur, self-employed, or small business owner, right? Because that's what I am. I wear all of those hats. And I had to learn this, not even just as a financial professional, but as an entrepreneur, the best ways for me to save. And I'm not sure that there's enough content being produced about it to where people are paying attention. So I just wanted to focus on that a bit today as well. All right. So how do I supercharge my savings? That becomes the question. Well, we're going to start with knowing what to save for. So this goes back to competing demands on our money, prioritizing our savings. There are 5 types of savings that I want to educate you about today. The first is when I need it, I got it. The second is your regular or goal-specific savings. The third is your retirement or pre-tax and post-tax, because there's 2 ways to save for retirement. The fourth is your investments. This is when your money is making money for you. And then fifth are your business savings. So if you are an entrepreneur or you're entrepreneurial minded, you're thinking about starting a business, a side hustle, adding an additional stream of income, we want to go ahead and open a business savings so you could put money in that account for that venture that you may have in mind or for the existing business that you have. So these are the 5 types of savings. Again, when I need it, I got it. That's just your emergency fund. But I think words are powerful. I don't want any more emergencies. So I like to call it when I need it, I got it, AKA emergency fund. Regular or goal specific, this is all about the things you want to save for. I want to save for a down payment on a home. I want to save for vacation. I want to save for a new wardrobe. Whatever your heart's desire, your regular or goal specific savings, this is that money. And as you can see, they should not be together. They're separate. Your when I need it, I got it is separate from your regular or goal specific savings. And so many times when I meet with clients, they're like, oh, everything is in this one account. I get it. It's all lumped in. It's just one pot of savings. But this is part of the reason why it's somewhat of a challenge to know what to save for and to really have certain monies working when other money should just be sitting. So breaking it down this way is how you know, okay, with these 5, I've got everything covered. And then I've already explained the others, but I'll say investments, that's when your money's making money for you. So for those of us who don't think we're investors, the first place it may be working for you is in your retirement if you have an employer-sponsored plan. If you don't have an employer-sponsored retirement plan, then this is where we want to open a separate brokerage account for you to start investing, and that money makes money for you. Or any other investments that are out there. Stock market is just one way to invest and have your money working for you. So you could invest in property, you could invest in businesses, you could invest in people. There are other ways to invest, but we really want to start with the passive way, which is the stock market. So when you save for these 5 types of savings, you'll save for everything you'll ever need. 20 years of doing what I do, well, 21 this year, thank you, Father. I have figured it out. It boils down to these 5 types of savings. If you save for each one of these, you will save for everything you'll ever need. So try me. I want you to name something in the chat that you know you want to save for, and I'll tell you where that falls within the savings framework. Okay, so go ahead and name something in the chat that you want to save for, and I'm going to help you identify what kind of savings that is. All right, so Elizabeth says travel. Great. So travel is going to fall in your regular or goal specific savings. And when you get ready to plan for that, ideally, right, you're going to do your research. Where do I want to go? Starts there. You got to know where you want to go, right? You know where you want to go. Okay, well, what does it look like to stay there for X amount of days? So now we need the flight and now we need the hotel. Now you have an idea of the potential costs of such a trip. And I need you to go that far with actually looking it up so that you know how much this is going to run you. Let's just say you want to go away for a week and that week is going to cost you $2,500 all in. Hotel, flight, spending money. Now you know I need to save $2,500 in my regular or goal specific account, right? And that's going to be for travel. And you very well may have multiple things that you're saving for in this one account. And that's where when we work one-on-one, we get to organize and manage those savings. All right, Priscilla says, a home. Yes, a lot of my clients are saving for a home. They are potential first-time homeowners. So that would also go in your regular or goal-specific savings. And ideally, you'll be saving for your down payment. So this is money that's just going to be sitting there. You're not going to need this money until you need it. That's why we want to separate it from your when I need it, I got it. Because when I need it, I got it. I need that money to be available right then and there. And I need it not to take away from anything else I got going on. So that's the reason why we want to separate it. We'll talk more about the types of accounts that's coming up next. Anybody else have an idea of a type of something that you're saving for and want to know where it would fit? Classic car, Ronald. Great to see you, brother. Classic car is a goal, but I also see it as an investment. You're absolutely right. So that would be again a regular or goal specific savings. And to your point, it could definitely be in an investment as long as it's classic, right? Because we know any other car is going to depreciate. It's a depreciating asset. However, vintage and classic cars are investments. So that is a great thing to point out. And depending upon, because you might work in stages, right? It might start off as a depreciable asset until you fix it up and you invest in it. And by the time it gets to where you know it's worth something and it could be appraised, now it's going to sit on the asset side of your balance sheet, which would definitely make it an investment. All right, this was great. Thank you for joining in on that piece. So, again, we want to start with what we know to save for. And those are the 5 types of savings. So let's do a quick recap. You just learned the 5 types of savings you'll need to save for any and everything you'll ever need. They are your when I need it, I got it, my regular or goal specific, my retirement, which includes saving pre-tax as well as post-tax. Those are the 2 ways we save for retirement. Your investments, which is the 4th. And then 5th, business savings if you're entrepreneur or you're entrepreneurial minded. All right. So 5 types of savings. If you walked away right now, you at least know the 5 things you need to save for. This will help you to prioritize your savings as well as know as long as I got these 5 under my belt, everything for the rest of my financial life is covered. Now, you might have multiple things in there. However, that's fine. That's where the management comes in. All right. So let's keep it pushing. So today we'll focus on now the 7 ways to save your hard-earned cash. We've already covered how to supercharge our savings for 2024. It's by having those 5 types of savings. So 7 ways to save your hard-earned cash. I'm going to just give it to you up front and then we go dive into each one of them. So first, traditional bank account savings. We ain't getting rich off of this, y'all, but we need it. High yield savings account, different story. 401k, 403b, 457b, or a TSP. These are all employer sponsored plans. A SEP IRA, which is great for those of us who are entrepreneurs, self-employed, or small business owners. A Roth IRA, which anyone for the most part can open and invest in. It does depend on your income tax filing status, but most people are eligible, and your income, because at a certain level of income, which I believe is greater than 153,000, then you can't contribute. All right. So, but if you're under 153,000, you're good. And then an investment account, talk more about that. And a health savings account. Now, everyone isn't eligible for a health savings account. However, if you are, and if you can make it happen, then it can become a rather clever way to save, as well as to save for retirement, as well as to save for healthcare costs. So these are the 7 ways to save your hard-earned cash. So again, you've learned the types of savings that are out there. Now we're going to talk about the accounts that you can use to get at your 5 types of savings, but also each of these accounts has a very specific purpose. So let's dive right in. All right. First is your traditional savings. This is at those banks, you know who they are, the big 4, but even your credit union, right? You might have a credit union that you're a part of, or you're like me and I have an account at Fidelity. That's where my checking account is, because I don't really like the banks, y'all. So I tend to bank with Fidelity, but I have been finding it very, very difficult to keep going without a regular bank account. So I opened one at US Bank because that's where I have my business bank accounts, but I haven't funded it yet. I try not to use it, and I'm actually considering an online savings account now for my bank account. I really don't like the bank, so yeah. Now, traditional savings account, this is where we want to keep our when I need it, I got it money. Why? We want to keep our when I need it, I got it money in this kind of an account, again, with your traditional bank or an investment firm, because when something goes down, y'all, we need to be able to access that money, right? We need to either be able to walk in make a withdrawal, or use our ATM card and go to the ATM machine. So we need easy access to this money. Now, a lot of people are like, well, can I just have some sitting in cash? Yes, you can. And if you're going to have it sitting in cash at home somewhere, definitely have a fireproof safe. However, in this economic environment, inflation is very high. So that money is eroding even more if it's not in an account. Now, mind you, these accounts are paying less than 1%. Again, we're not getting rich off of them, but they do have FDIC insurance for most of the banks that we all have relationships with. So if anything happens to that money, it's safe. All right. So you want to use this account for your post-tax dollars. You get paid, taxes are already taken out. That money hits your checking account, go put some away in a savings account. That's this money. Okay. And ideally, it's your when I need it, I got it money that's sitting here. Now, 2024 ushered in some new changes to the law regarding how we can save. One of those changes comes from the Secure Act 2.0, which was passed back in 2022, but some of those changes didn't become effective until this year. One of them being that your employer can now offer an emergency savings account within a retirement account. However, you're saving that money with pre-tax dollars, so you earn your 40 hours a week. That money comes out before taxes. It goes into an emergency savings account, and then you can access that money up to 4 times a year, tax-free, penalty-free. So that's pretty cool. It's another way that employers are trying to help people save. Now, if we think about that, it's because savings really is a challenge for us Americans. It's difficult to save. That's why Congress is passing all these things to think about how can we help Americans save more, do it in an easy way. They're already used to putting money into a 401k as long as their employer offers it. So now this new law allows for your employer, if they so choose, to offer an emergency savings account through like a Roth account. So I would say check with your employer on Monday if you've got a 9 to 5 to see if they're going to start offering this type of an emergency savings account, because the difference here is that you get to save with pre-tax dollars. Typically, we get paid, taxes and all that come out, and then we put money into a savings account. That's after tax dollars. Continue to do that too. But if your employer is going to offer this, take advantage of it, because it's actually going to lower the amount of taxes that you pay. However much you put into this emergency savings account, that's going to help lower the amount of taxes you pay per paycheck. Okay. So again, we're not getting rich off of this. This is that when I need it, I got it money. You become your own bank. And we want to make sure that we fund this account with as much money as we possibly can. So if nothing else, if you can't save for anything else, save for your when I need it, I got it. Because y'all know when times get hard, who can you call if not a family member, right? You just got to tough it out. And for some of us, that might be the discipline we need, trusting in God to provide. But at the same time, this could be the focus. And you can start with $100 if you don't have anything, 500 if you've got something, 1,000. Maybe you've got 5,000 and you want to get to 7,000. Okay, well, hit your next milestone at 5,500. Okay, at 5,500, then I'm gonna set my next goal for 6,000. Micro goal your way to your savings. All right. High yield savings account. And feel free to put any questions that you might have in the chat, and then I'll see them as they come in. High yield savings account. This is the account you open online. And this is where you put your regular or goal specific savings. You know, Priscilla wants to save for a home. Elizabeth wants to save for travel. That money is not going to be needed until you need it. Once the trip rolls around, then you can withdraw the money. Once you save for the down payment for the home, then you're going to withdraw the money. So all that time, we want that money sitting in a high yield savings account so it can earn as much as possible. High yield savings accounts right now are paying on upwards of 5.1%. So if you put $100 in that account, you're going to make $5. High yield savings accounts have compounding on a daily basis and they pay out on a monthly basis. Now you're like, okay, $5 at the end of the year. Yeah, but compare that to 5 cents at the end of the year in a regular checking or a regular savings account. So this is substantial. That is almost 100 times fold, right? So the more you put away, the more you actually earn in this account. I have a client right now, she's got a few thousand in her high yield savings, but she made $100 in 1 month. She's expected to get 1,200, around 1,200 at the end of the year. Now, again, she's got several thousand in this account, but that's the power of a high yield. That's why it's called high yield. All yield means is interest rate. High interest rate savings account. That's all yield means. At the end of a 12-month period, what is my yield? What is my interest earned on this account? So this is where you want to put the money that you're not supposed to be touching until you reach your goal. This is where that lives. You can use bankrate.com. I'm going to drop it in the chat real quick. Bankrate.com is a great resource that I use to check out the rates around the nation of various high yield savings accounts. Now, let me be mindful and also show you